On this day, 30 years ago, KIMT News 3 morning anchor Jodi Huisentruit didn't make it to work. 3 decades later, June 27, 2025, there are still no clear answers as to what happened to the then 27-year-old who made informing Mason City viewers her life's work. KIMT News 3's Evan Burke. Huisentruit's last known location, where her old apartment complex here, Evan, in Mason City. How is the community really remembering Jodi today?
Well, Jess, the community came out today, including Jodi's old co-workers from KIMT back in the 90s, as well as some of her friends here in Mason City, to remember her and hopefully encourage people to come forward if they have any tips that could cause a break in the case. According to the Mason City Police Department, here at the Key apartment complex is where she was last seen, where she was suspected of being kidnapped on her way to work, just 5 minutes away from our Mason City office. Sorry. Many of Jodi's loved ones came to speak about the first few days of her disappearance, the uncertainty, the attention from other news outlets, and their hope that they'd find what happened by July of 1995. 30 years later, Mason City Police are still hopeful there could be a break in the case, especially with so many people working to keep her memory alive and find answers.
I think we've seen all kinds of recent things, southern Minnesota, here in Iowa. I think a Jacob Wetterling and a homicide case, the Michelle Martico case in Cedar Rapids. I think absolutely this stuff happens. And so I think, that's why we're still at it, and that's why we're still continuing to assess and evaluate information as it comes in.
We all need closure. Those of us who knew Jodi need this thing to be solved.
The Mason City Police Department says anyone who knows anything about what happened here 30 years ago shouldn't hesitate to come forward and call their office to say what they know. Live in Mason City, Evan Burke, KIMT News 3.
Evan, before you go, could you tell us a little bit about what that overall feel was at that Finding Jodi event? Are they still hopeful they will find Jodi, or feeling on this 30-year anniversary frustrated that there aren't any really credible leads?
Jess, a lot of the people I spoke to at today's event aren't sure if there will really be a happy outcome here, but they're at least hopeful that there could be closure eventually, especially with many cold cases eventually seeming to find some kind of closure in our region eventually. As to when that could be, that's uncertain. But a lot of people are hoping this will be the last time they have to come out to a memorial for Jodi Huisentruit, still wondering when we are going to find Jodi.
Okay, thank you so much, Evan. Speaking of developments in her missing persons case, police made one of the biggest breaks actually earlier this year, if you can believe it. They believe that the abduction of Jodi Huisentruit may have involved this man.
She was like a daughter to me. She was just like my own child. I treat her like my own child.
Now, you may remember when we told you about the partial release of an 8-year-old search warrant related to a person of interest in the case. Police put a GPS tracking device on vehicles connected to John Van Cise, a now deceased person of interest. The search warrant shows a GPS device was in place from Baxter, Iowa to Phoenix, Arizona from March 2nd through the 6th. Before Van Cise arrived back home. The GPS data does show he stopped in Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and New Mexico.